have short arms. I tell you, the arms of these shorts.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, back in effect. How you in? 1, 2, 1, 2. Antonio. It is pissing down here right now. I ain't even playing with y'all, man. Yo. All right, let's have it. Let's have the real one. Let's. Yes, big up Clive in the place to be. How you mean? Putty. We always rock it. Yeah. Yeah, let's hear it. We'll do this and I'm gonna hear from the man them, yeah? We'll do this, I'm gonna hear from the man them, yeah? 1, 2. Boom. We beat the squads. We beat the scum. We beat them North London. We beat them North London Cats, dog, straight up. Yo, my G. Well, first off, yo, honestly, I ain't playing with y'all. Hold on. See, I gotta set it up nicely, nicely, like I'm drinking an iced tea, yeah? But yo, if you ain't checked this out, check it out, because it's worth
West Ham
checking
had
out.
basically won the World Cup, for the previous World Cup, even though there were this, smallish, relatively small East London team.
Big up, Wally World. How you mean?
Right, so you ready, yeah?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Hammers Fans United, and welcome back to One From Each Team. I know I always say it, but today I'm joined by a very special guest, and the reason why I say that is because his predecessors were all YouTubers, and this guy is not. He's a subscriber. He's a supporter of, the West Ham channels, and he is the first non-YouTuber, I would say, onto this platform. So that makes him very, very special. And, he's given up his time, and he's all the way in America, which is even more, special to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this guy introduce himself and, why he's a West Ham fan, and then we'll get straight on with the One From Each Team. So over to you, sir.
Well, okay, Titch, thanks so much. I am privileged to be invited on your channel.
Y'all catch that? Privileged to be invited on Hammers Fans United, which is Titch's YouTube channel, right? You got West Ham Random, right? Yo, big things coming. But before I bring in our very, very, very special guest, watch the flex.
Yeah, you already know who it is. You already know. Hey, I called right at the end, bro. Told me we won. Yo, Antonio got a motherfucking tap in because Harry Kane's a pussy hole. Fuck them spuds. Take some of that, you dig? Yo, I try to call you during the game. I try to have bro do a little triple. But it ain't work because this dummy got the fucking Buffale phone plan and he can't make international calls. But he gonna sort that out. Once he sort that out, I'm gonna plug in with you, B. Yo, big up everybody, man. So happy, right? Yo, when I get back to my cell, I'm gonna make a fucking big ass brick. Jack Mac with the pickles, with the fucking chips, with the everything, you heard? With a little sazon packet for the season. Yeah, you know it. But hey, man's happy to the motherfucker right now that we beat them spuds. And bro, they'll put in the big on the gambling account. We up all the way. You listen. Don't nobody worry about me, man. The general straight. I'm in with the bros, with the twins. Listen, CB fine. Don't worry about me. Don't lose no sleep over me. My commissary on swole. Yo, they got mans in the kitchen. That's my little jobby job. So I get a little extra grub and things. They only pay a motherfucker like 15, 20 cents a day. Ain't that some bullshit? But yo, it don't matter. It helped me pass the time. But yo, it's all love. I want to give a shout out to the homie Titch. I hope his channel's popping. Yo, shout out to Atlas, Bex, Washio. Now, yo, of course you, Peach, you my brother, man. Bro done told me you done pick me up like every motherfucking day singing this shit. Yo, don't get knocked, don't get pinched drinking the motherfucking ciders out in the block, you heard? Put them shits in a coffee cup like I taught you, man. Don't be out there getting pinched for no fucking ciders. Who else? Who else? Uncle Wally World, Uncle Neil, Uncle Kieran. Hey, Uncle Kieran over there in Australia. Good eye, mate. You know what it is. Kangaroo fucking style. Hey, CB the General, he's straight, man. Big up everybody. Spread my motherfucking love to everybody. But for today, man, it's just super fucking gas. We beat those spuds, man. I can't see the goal. It don't even fucking matter, B. It don't matter. As long as we beat them pussy hoes, you heard? And when I jump, you better have 1,000 subscribers. You dig? Hey, I'm out this bitch. I gotta go bust they ass in a card game. But yo, one love, man. Up the motherfucking hammers, you heard?
Up the motherfucking hammers. Clive, what are you saying, my G? Are you all right, man?
Good morning to you from a very cold and miserable Crawley in Sussex.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm good though, man.
It's pissing down here, mate. It's pissing down here.
We haven't got rain at the moment, but yeah, no, it's a bit miserable. You all right though, bro?
Come on. If you don't support West Ham, how can you not be all right? Like, what a result! Like, we just can't stop winning.
Fantastic.
Were you with the match?
Result.
Were you with the match?
No, I wasn't. No. A few of the guys I know, you know, Happy Amaret, and I would imagine Stell was there, Matt was there, you know, Stato.
Yeah.
So, you know, a few people were there, but I didn't go myself. No, I was in the local pub up the road.
Oh,
and it got very messy though, very, very messy.
Oh, I know. It did these ways too. It did. I was on the YouTube talking to, who was it, Titch and Kieran, your boy Kieran.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the man there, and like, I had too many ciders up in me, and like, I just needed a kip, and I just like, I had to just exit, and then I arranged this show to be on like 2-3 hours before, and I needed a kip again, and it got messy here too, man, but a good messy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, look, I found out how to get into the chat as well, so I can't actually see the comments, I don't think. No.
Okay, I'll put them up.
Wait. No, I got them. I got them, but you know, it's too difficult for me to read them without the old goggles.
Oh, you know? Specs. Yeah. With the spectacles. Yeah. No. Well. Rob's projector wall. He's saying Peach is in the house, and then he's putting some tunes there. Oh, Miss Hammerette. Morning, Peach. Morning, Miss Hammerette. Brilliant young lady. 100. Yes, fresh fielder. It said, "Yo, Charlie boy, stay safe, buddy." Yeah, it was nuts, Clive, because it was like we got the result against Spurs, and then I got that message from his brother, and it was like I got 2 results in one day. It was magic. I've been waiting to hear from this kid for months, and it was magic, man.
Yeah. So we've got quite a few comments already.
Yes, we do. Hey, Peach and Clive, hold on. Mrs. Hammerette saying good morning to you, my friend.
Morning, Miss Hammerette.
Kieran's in the house. We got to put all nice and hot in here. Oh, see, he's always bragging about his weather, isn't he?
I know. And he's thousands of miles away, so we can't even tweak his nipples or anything. Morning, Kieran.
I know.
Miss Hammerette's in the house. Happy Hammerette's in the house.
We got both of the Hammerettes in here tonight. Oh, my days of this morning. on my way to work with a hangover the size of Utah, but well
Utah.
worth it. I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
that's great.
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna put the thing in the chat so Kieran can come in. Hold on 1 second, mate. Hold
Okay,
on.
okay.
But yeah,
Yeah, man.
how did you think we played?
Do
How
you
did
know,
you think we played?
I thought that we worked very hard yesterday.
Yep,
Um,
yep,
one or two performances weren't quite up to their normal standards, but in general, I think everybody put in their shift. You know, I
Are you
thought Ben
talking
Rama.
about Ben Rama when you say that?
Well, Ben Rama, yeah, he wasn't quite firing on all 8 cylinders yesterday. I thought, you know,
Yeah,
I thought he was down to
I
about
agree.
5 or 6. You know,
Yeah,
he was still obviously, you know, like we all love as a West Ham fan, we love a trier, and he still
yeah,
tried to do what
yeah,
he could do. You know,
yeah,
unfortunately, I think most of the teams out there now have kind of sussed us out a bit, you know, and they kind of
yeah.
they
You know what I
plan
think?
for
Go on.
individuals.
You know what I think they're doing, Clive. You know what I think they're
Mm,
doing, and I think it was Kieran that said this.
yeah,
I'm pretty damn sure it was Kieran that said this, and
yeah,
he'll tell us if he said this, but I'm pretty sure he said this.
yeah,
You know when you got teams playing City, you got teams playing Liverpool, Chelsea, United, like they they basically parked the bus, and they
yeah,
basically like put all the men behind. But what Clive said, it's like we weren't falling into that trap. We weren't
yeah,
falling into that trap, so we were holding our men, you know, kind of on the in the center line, and
yeah,
like if you know, we saw they were putting men behind the ball. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
basically 10 men behind the ball, but we were holding
yeah.
our center line, so we weren't leaving ourselves open. So
Exactly,
if they tried to
exactly.
come at us, they couldn't. I thought Zuma played a really solid game.
Ju-
I was like hats
For
off to Zuma.
for
I was
me,
well impressed.
yeah, for me, he had man of the match performance yesterday. That's
Yes, sir.
personally,
Yes,
but
sir.
but I don't think anybody worked as hard as he did on the pitch yesterday, and they all worked bloody
Yep.
hard, every one of them. You know,
Yeah,
but
and
uh,
that's as West Ham fans, that's all we want to see. You leave your you leave your blood, sweat, and tears on the pitch. No matter if you win or lose, we're happy.
that's it.
And luckily,
Yeah,
we
that's
won.
it.
That's
You
it.
know, I mean, even Ben Rama's performance, right? Okay, so if I
Yeah,
was to rate his performance yesterday, I would probably give him a 6.5 or a 7 maximum.
yeah, I agree.
But
Yeah,
but even so, he left nothing on the pitch. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
He
yeah,
when he came off, he'd given
yeah,
everything he could for the day. You know,
yeah,
and that's all
yeah,
you want from our players. You know, that's what
yeah.
we want. We like to see a trier. You know, I think it was actually Gatesy that said that on one of his shows. He said,
Yeah,
as West Ham fans,
Gates is here. Yeah, Gates is here.
yeah, he's in the
Yeah,
house, is
look,
he?
It certainly is. Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Tottenham get battered everywhere they go. Tottenham get battered
Everywhere they
everywhere
go,
they go. It's turning into like White
yeah,
Shite Lane.
yeah. So at the beginning of this stream, you put the one from each team little clip up of Wally World,
Yes,
and
yes.
so I just wanted to say that I watched that last night because I've been awake since
It
like
was a
3
good
a.m.
watch, wasn't it? It was a good
It was
watch, wasn't it?
fantastic. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed it, but I
yeah,
also
me too.
straight afterwards I watched Gates's one, and I know
Did you?
you're watching. I know you're watching now, Gatesy.
Yeah,
Quality team,
yes.
quality team,
Casey,
absolutely
come on,
quality.
Casey. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Big
yeah, yeah.
big
I
up
haven't
for that.
watched
That was
Casey's one yet.
quality. Yeah,
I've
yeah.
the only one
Oh,
I watched Wally's World because
yeah,
I didn't want honestly, Clive, I told you this. I didn't want to watch any before I picked my team. and I picked my team. So then I watched Wally's, and then I started watching Charlie Boys, and I only got as far as his first pick, which was like the Watford goalkeeper on the bench,
Right.
and that was it. And I still got Gatesy to watch, James Fevers to watch.
I'm going to watch James's later.
Yeah. But it's addictive, isn't it? Like
it is absolutely addictive, and it's really it's a really great format. You know, big up to Kitch for that format, man. I mean, that's incredibly good.
He's a very clever boy, that man. He's a very clever boy. Yeah.
And what a nice guy. What a nice guy also.
Oh, he's a gem. I watched, absolute gem.
I watched the stream that I was supposed to appear on last night, you know, with you and Titch and Kieran. And also James Fever came on as well, didn't he? But I watched that as well yesterday, this morning. Probably about 3:50 a.m. this morning, and I watched that as well, and you know, I found that you know, I couldn't.
Keep talking. I'm going to disappear for a minute. But keep talking, please. Keep.
Okay, we'll do, brother. We'll do. Yeah, I didn't make the stream, the show last night because I obviously celebrated a little bit too much after the game and suffered for it grossly. But you know, that I thought that you guys were discussing, you know, the pros and cons of each player during the game yesterday, and I felt that Benrahma had an average game. It weren't a good game, it weren't a bad game, it was an average game. But Kurt Zouma, 10 out of 10 for me yesterday. He put in a fantastic performance. He showed why David Moyes got him. We all knew that he was quality. And yesterday he proved it to everybody, you know. Ben Johnson was absolutely on fire yesterday. One of the best performances I've seen from him. Quality performance from him. And, you know, the boys in the middle, Declan, obviously, he was fantastic. You know, he's got everything in his game. And yesterday he controlled that midfield beautifully. So all in all, I thought that, you know, the whole game went well. Mikel Antonio was slightly off pace yesterday, I felt. I probably would have given him an 8.5 or 9 for yesterday's game. Although he got the goal, he didn't really do a great deal to impress yesterday. He was solid all day, all through the game, but he didn't do a lot to impress. But he's cross into the middle with his left foot when he was out on the left wing. That was sublime. Unfortunately, Fornals blasted it over the bar, but you know, in general, everybody played their part, and the Yids got sorry, my apologies. The Tottenham players came out and they didn't look like they were ready to play us. I felt Harry Kane looked at, you know, 7s and 8s. He didn't look like he was ready for the game. So generally speaking, I think we outclassed them on the pitch, and we outclassed them, and we outclassed them like mentally as well, because we were all hyped and ready for the game, and it didn't look like Tottenham were, you know.
But they rested their whole team to play us. They were scared, and they lost in the stupid Mickey Mouse conference thing, and then they lost against us. Like, we are massive. Like, it's not it's not whatchamacallit. It's not a myth anymore. Like, we really are massive. Like, it's the best I've seen West Ham play since I've been alive. Honest to goodness.
Yeah. Listen, I couldn't actually tie down the best performance I've ever seen by West Ham.
Clive, look who's in the building, Clive. Look who's in the building. Look who's in the building, Clive. Look who's in
Gates
the
is in the house.
How are we, boys? I'm doing good, Clive. Boys, it's been a good last 24 hours, I've got to say.
I gotta
Yes,
ask you though,
indeed.
Daisy, how has your household been? Because I know your wife's a Spurs supporter, and I know you're West Ham. How's it been in the house? How
Well,
has
she
it been
still
in your household?
she still picked me up from the station, believe it or not. I sent her
You're a lucky boy. You're a lucky boy. You're a lucky boy.
yeah, no, she picked me up from, and the kids from, I suppose it was because she had her kids were there as well, so you know she couldn't leave them in the lurch. So I think if I'd have been on my own, it might have been a slightly different story. But she
That's why
picked
you
us
brought
up,
the
and
kids along with you. That's why you brought the kids along with you, so you got to ride back.
yeah, a little bit of a ploy on my part, but no, listen, it's I don't want to give too much away because I've got a match vlog. We've got a match vlog going on the channel at 10:30, I think it premieres, if I remember rightly, UK time.
What channel is that on again? I forget.
Oh,
What channel is that on again?
That's on a little channel called Forged from Iron West Ham United, to give it its full title, but just Forged from Iron, whatever.
And what do you have on Twitter? You have something else on Twitter called Forge Talk?
Forge Talk, at Forge Talk on Twitter, and there's also an Instagram, Facebook, and
yes,
yeah, we've even got a TikTok now, believe it or not. My daughter badgered me. She said, "Daddy, you've got to get a TikTok," and I'm like, "Oh, you know." So and in the end,
what are you doing the TikTok? Because I'm gonna get a TikTok too. I'm gonna catch up with you, dog.
To be honest, I'm still getting.
It's like minute videos, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm still getting the head around it, sort of thing. If I'm being completely honest, I keep having to ask my daughter every 5 minutes, "Am I doing this right?" And she's like, "Oh, Dad, I've told you this before," sort of thing. You know how it is. But basically, all I'm doing on that. Yeah, you know how it is, Clive.
Are you doing the dances with the music?
No. It's they're at the minute they're literally just videos saying, you know, publicizing the streams that we're doing. That's pretty much it, really. It's just another medium to get our message out there. So
yeah,
I'm gonna do some moonwalk, like some moonwalk, some dances, some. Who was the boy? James Brown. Woo! I'm gonna do some of them dances on this. But
living in America.
Bubbles. You watch.
Beautiful, nice one.
Yeah,
but yeah, no. Would you? I know you obviously wasn't at the game, Peach. If you were, then you've done well to get back in time. Clive, were you at the match yesterday?
No, mate, I didn't go to the match. I had other things happening around me, but no, I went over to the pub to watch it. Hey, Kieran, how you doing, mate?
Kieran's in the building.
Kieran,
yeah. I went over to the pub.
All right, man.
Yeah, I went over to the pub to watch it. Got a little bit messy, you know. There was
a little bit.
The landlord at my local, he's such a good landlord, you know. He's actually a Liverpool supporter, and they have quite a few Liverpool supporters in the pub, you know, on match days. And because our game was followed by the Liverpool United game, you know, the Liverpool and the United fans were coming in, but they were all congregating in the West Ham end of the pub, and all the Tottenham boys were at the other end, except for a couple of the local lads that we all get on well with. But, it was a fairly even split. I reckon there was probably about 15 genuine West Ham supporters in the pub, and probably 20 or 25 Tottenham supporters, maybe more. I mean, I thought at one point we were outnumbered about 4-1, but a few more West Ham boys came in towards like kick-off time. It got a bit messy, you know. There was a lot of chanting, a lot of singing, and things going on. And after the final whistle, I needed to go and, you know, call the nature, etc. And so I had to walk through the Tottenham end of the pub to get there. I mean, you know, it was obvious I was going to do that with the state I was in, singing, you know, running around Tottenham with our willies hanging out. It was quite funny. One guy was really offended by it, though.
Oh no!
Yeah, he was, and he got. he got all offended by it and started getting a bit gobby about it. And his mates were going, "Shut up! It's a bit of banter, you dickhead," and all that, you know. But he turned around and he said something, and he said, "You lot might have won the game, but you wouldn't. But you would run from a fight or something."
All right. Okay.
I started taking my jacket off, getting all leery, didn't I?
Yeah,
We ended up having we ended up having a beer together. That was probably the best way it could have come. So we had a beer together, and you know, I apologised to him that that we were better than them and things like that. You know, it was just a bit of fun. You know
what I hate? You know what I hate, Clive? I ran into like on one of the streams before. The grocery store I go to, there's a Tottenham supporter there, and he was saying, "Oh, yeah, West Ham played like shit, but they still won." I'm like, "No," I'm like, "We played brilliant." I was like, "Don't you mean you played like shit?" He was like, "Yeah, we didn't play that good either." I was like, "No, we made you not play that good." Like, there's a difference when you got Harry Kane and Son in your back pocket, and we had them in our back pockets, like. That was from the way.
That's the thing, Peach. You look at Tottenham's front line, and I taking my West Ham specs off, that's a pretty good front line of Kane, Moura, and Son. Yeah. How many shots did they have on target in the second half?
Like 3.
0. None. They didn't have a single shot.
0.
No shots on target in the second half. They had.
No, that's right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
how many all match
and that was because we
3 all match though, wasn't it? It was like 2 or 3 all match. I think it was like as low as that.
Yeah. Have you seen Declan Rice's stats for the game yesterday though?
Oh, please tell me. Please tell me.
Unbelievable. Pass success rate. I think this is completely going off the top of my head from recollection. Pass stats: 92.5% pass accuracy. He played 4 long passes. All 4 of them hit their intended target. I think he won 5 out of 6 tackles. He made, I don't know, a couple of interceptions, whatever. I am struggling off the top of my head right now to think of a better defensive or central midfielder in. And I put it on a Facebook post. I think it was one of my friends on Facebook, and I said I'm struggling to think of a better central or defensive midfielder in European football right now. And Duke jumped up and went world football, and I turned around and I said I was being charitable because I am. I've got to be honest. I watched his performance yesterday, and I'm like, this is just ridiculous. This is just every week. Every week he's bullying opposition midfields, and he doesn't care who they are. He doesn't care what their reputation is. You know, Pierre Højbjerg is no mug, but he made him look a mug.
Yeah.
He was absolutely fabulous, Gatesy. I can't understand. It just seems to get better and better. You know, I thought he might have reached his peak by now, but he's nowhere near it. He just keeps going and going and going, doesn't he? And
he won't hit his peak for another 4, 5, 6 years, Clive. 4, 5 Kieran.
Years,
exactly. You're talking about a 26-year-old, 27 is probably prime, isn't it, for most footballers? And he's just going on 23. So you know what we got here. We're talking an absolute superstar here, and it just keeps impressing me, which I just didn't think he could, but he is. Brilliant. And like I say, you could have had 3 men in a match yesterday. I think Cresswell had a great game. Zuma had a great game. But Rice, to me, was... I don't think we want to give it to Rice because he's that every week now.
Yeah, it gets a bit boring, doesn't it?
A bit boring. Man the match every week. So even young Johnson, and I criticised Johnson for that first half hour against Genk. I thought he was really poor. But I thought he stood up yesterday and he had a cracking game. The best he's played for at West Ham so far. He had a cracking game.
Hammer, I could have taken you with me, but you were in the place I wanted to be. You were at the stadium, darling, so just, you know, I'm jealous of you, Gil, all right? So you were at the stadium, I was in the pub.
She's brilliant, man.
You should have taken me with you, Gil.
We didn't have it. I say, Hammer, get back to me. Sorry, Kieran.
Not about Clive. I'm just saying, you didn't take a dive yesterday, did you, mate?
No, mate, no. But I don't remember how I got home.
Yeah, that's a beautiful day, isn't it?
I woke up at 3 a.m. on my sofa, covered up with a quilt. I have no idea how that happened.
Love it.
That's a good day out. That's a good day out, mate.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I had one or two too many yesterday. So yeah.
I'm going to ask a question.
When me and Kieran were on before, Kieran's like, what happened to Clive?
Sorry.
And he's like, I think I know what happened to Clive. And I'm like, yeah, I think I know what happened to Clive too.
Can I ask a question of you? Can I ask a question to you three guys in all seriousness?
Go on.
Would it shock any of you three if we finish the season and we're a Champions League team? Would it shock you?
No.
Not by current performances and the stats that we've got loading up on our side. No, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah,
I don't expect it to happen.
Yeah,
because I'm a West Ham supporter. But you know, at the end of the day, that's what we want. And you know,
What about you, Gates?
Not going to be surprised.
What about yourself?
No, it wouldn't shock me. I'm not saying we're going to do it. I'm not saying there's a world of difference between me coming out and saying we're going to be a Champions League team, which is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that if we get to game 38, or by virtue of winning the Europa League, because don't forget we could be a Champions League team next season by winning the Europa League this season, would it shock me that next season we play Champions League football? It wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me. 2-3 seasons ago, if it would have shocked me rigid. Right now, let's look at it. Right, we're fourth in the Premier League. 9 games gone. Well, 9 games is virtually a quarter of a season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. We're top of our Europa League group because I think a lot of people were concerned: is that gonna stunt our progression in league football, blah blah blah. We're top of our Europa League. We've not conceded a goal. We've won 3 out of 3, and in the League Cup, just for a little bit of extra gloss on it, in the League Cup we went to Old Trafford and turned them over.
Yeah.
Tell me a reason why a team that's in that sort of form couldn't conceivably at the end of this season, by hook, by crook, whichever way it comes about, whether it's league or winning the Europa League,
Can I play devil's advocate there, guys?
Go on, Kieran.
My worry is if we could start and end with the team we've got now and the bench we've got now and no one get injured, I think fourth place is possible. Fourth place, and that would be Champions League. My worry is the amount of games we have got coming. 2 or 3 injuries in prime positions is going to cost us. Unless,
like it did last season.
What I would love to happen is the board that we all hate. All of a sudden in January, Tatum Moyes, here's 100 million. Strengthen up, let's go through. If that happens, I think there's every possibility. But with the squad we've got, I think injuries will catch up with us, and I think we'll drop down. I don't think we'll get 4th. I think we could easily get 6th, 7th, or 8th. Yeah. But without that investment in January, I don't think we've got a big enough squad to make that 4th spot.
Yeah, as I say, I'm not saying we're going to do it. As I say,
no, I know you're not. But I said that's why my old West Ham head's going.
Yeah.
Oh, I still don't believe, Gatesy. I 90% believe, but I've got that fucking little 10% going, no, we're not gonna, we can't do it. Yeah. We always fuck it up.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm wrong and you're right. And we are challenging for that 4th spot. I hope so, man. Yes. Really do. But I mean, I'm loving this ride at the moment. I've just got that little cynical bit. You know, that old cynical bit in the back of my head. I worry about injuries. But quite frankly, JT, injuries cost the Champions League last year. That injury to O'Connor, to Rice, at that time, and Antonio, there was only one more win. There's only one more win. That cost the Champions League. And I fear that could be the same this year. But anyway.
No, I just because as I said before to you, Kieran, I think it's baby steps, and I think that the Europa League was the perfect outcome for us. Even though we were 3 away from the Champions League, I think Europa was the perfect outcome for us because we're stepping into Europa. It looks like we've been there for years. And then we step up to somewhat like the Champions League.
Correct. I think Champions League would have been too early for us this year.
I think so.
Yeah, I believe that too. Yeah.
And Happy Amaret saying, she's saying with the new striker in January, definitely.
Yeah. That's what we need. We need some backup.
Yeah.
Who is it though? Who's the striker? Is it Aniencho? I wasn't too impressed with him, to tell you the truth.
Divock Origi.
Yeah.
Now there's a man that I would like to have at the London Stadium.
Yeah.
Which one?
He's Divock Origi. I think he's vastly underrated. He's got more in his locker than people give him credit for. You know,
well, no one can see what he's got in his locker half the time because he sat on the bench.
He works hard in training. He worked really hard in training from the mates that I've got, Liverpool fans and that. You know, and they say that he works hard and he does really well in training. But you know, how is he going to remove Mo Salah from the starting lineup?
He's not. Mo Salah's of a different ilk. He's of a different class. He's the best European footballer in the world, I think, man. Honestly.
For me.
Who's the big guy up at Newcastle, the big lump they've got at Newcastle?
Alan Saint-Maximin.
I know. Mitrovic.
No, the tall guy.
Callum Wilson.
Oh.
No, the other one that's...
It's not Mitrovic? No, Mitrovic.
No, he's at Fulham.
Joe Linton.
Yeah, Linton. I don't want him.
Joe Linton. No. We've gone through all of that for you to say I don't want him. Kieran, come on, man.
He's taking the piss, isn't he? Taking the piss.
But no, I mean, I think you're right, Gatesy. I think we should be looking at players like Origi.
Oh, me too.
Or even, you know, I like the lad that plays for oh God, he's ex-Arsenal. What's his blood? Is it Leicester he plays for or Everton?
Oh, in the intro?
I can't. No. Oh yeah. Yeah. What's his name? Iñaki.
In the intro.
Oh God, what's
the Leicester striker? He used to be at Man City.
Yeah.
That's
I think you're right. Yeah.
Iheanacho.
Yeah.
Thing is, I don't think he's going to go anywhere because I think that Vardy, he's still a magnificent footballer, but if, you know, time's not on his side. So I don't see an Iheanacho going anywhere anytime soon. Whereas Origi, he's not getting a kick at Liverpool.
No, he's not. He's not.
World Cup.
What do you think about Lacazette? The rumors with Lacazette. Apparently, he's our number one target.
No.
Well, I don't know if you remember, Peach. I did a stream when the transfer window was open, and I did a stream, and I got a bit of heat for it. To be fair, I turned around and said, you know, because the talk was that at the time, Tammy Abraham was going to Arsenal, and I posed the question: does this open an opportunity for us to go for a striker at Arsenal that now might, if he goes, which obviously he didn't, but I was posing the question because there was a strong link. You know, if Abraham goes from Chelsea to Arsenal, does that open up a possibility for us to go for a striker that now might be surplus to requirements? I said Aubameyang and Lacazette. Now, realistically, I knew that Lacazette was probably the more realistic target because Aubameyang was on sort of like 300 odd grand a week. So, but I was posing a question, and I got a little bit of heat on that for Twitter. People were like, yeah, blah blah blah. What you been smoking? All the rest of it. And I'm like, you know, all right, I accept that Aubameyang might be a little bit more pie in the sky, but Lacazette, that's a bit more realistic.
It's realistic, yeah.
Don't you
take
find him average though? I find him average, honestly. Like I know
No,
he scored a good goal the other week.
No, I think he's decent.
You know,
I find him average.
I actually think that once David Moyes gets hold of a player, their playing abilities and that come to the fore.
Yeah.
He changes the way players look at the game.
Yeah.
You know,
And
he can create a monster out of more or less an average player.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mean to be rude about any players in particular, but when he was first appointed though, like the second time round, when he was first appointed, a lot of us wannabe managers, if you like, we were quite critical of Ben Rama, because even though we knew he had a bit of class about him, he just wasn't really putting in the performances, which is why he weren't getting the starts.
Yeah.
But David Moyes has concentrated on him and a few other guys in particular, and he's brought out monsters from each one of them. You know, so even though I don't particularly like Lacazette, I wouldn't be averse to him coming to West Ham, because I know that David Moyes, once he gets hold of him, will change what he doesn't like about him, if you know what I mean, or will attempt at the very least.
And the thing is, we need to give David Moyes the trust, don't we, guys? Because what has he done thus far, as his decision making is concerned? Listen, everybody can make mistakes, but I'm talking like the bigger picture here. You know, it's like he hasn't put a foot wrong, and this is why with Vlasic, even sort of like people are like even sort of like only a couple of games in, and they're saying, "Oh, it's a £30 million waste of space," blah blah blah. And it's like people were saying the same thing about Ben Rama, and he's come good.
Yeah.
Now I think that Vlasic is this season's Ben Rama. I think it's going to take him a season to really adapt, acclimatise, and get into his head, sort of like what David Moyes wants him to do in terms of the team structure. So I've got complete faith in David Moyes, and you know, until such time as he consistently gets it wrong. You know, at the minute he's consistently getting it more often than not right. So, as far as I'm concerned, if he brings in a player, if he brought in Lacazette, he brought in a player that I didn't particularly rate, I've got to sort of like go, do you know what? David Moyes knows more than I do about football.
No, I agree with you guys, because my trust isn't in Vlasic, because he hasn't impressed me at all. I haven't slaughtered him. I haven't said I'm actually backing him, because my trust is in Moyes. Because I think he'll turn him round. I think he'll turn him round, and I think he'll come good, because he has done with everyone else. He's done it with he held Bowen back, he held Ben Rama back, and they've come good. He's held Fornals back, have come good. He's done well with Souček, and he's done well with Sofel. So Vlasic now is the only one certain people are disputing whether he is a dud. It's just too early. It's too early. Boys, let him work his magic, and hopefully by the end of the season, that boy's banging it. And we just got to have our trust in Moyes, and hopefully it comes good.
Kieran, I know you said this before, but how impressed are you with Zuma? Because I'm really impressed. Like, he has a winning mentality. I think he is a rock.
He's beast mode. He's impressed me like Dawson did when he first turned up. And I didn't expect much from Dawson, but he went into beast mode. And Zuma's into beast mode already. Yesterday, there was nobody getting past him. Yesterday, he decided, see you, Kane, I don't care about you. You ain't coming past me. It's not happening. You and Son, you're not coming past it. And O'Connor was the same. You know, just in an older way. But Zuma was having it with anyone. I think he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Me too, man.
I was well impressed with Zuma yesterday. I felt
me too.
For me, I mean, you've got to take Declan Rice out of the equation, of course, but for me, he was the best player on the field yesterday, other than Declan Rice.
Other than Declan, you're right.
I mean, Declan Rice was bossing that midfield and the defence as well. He was brilliant. But for me, Declan Rice, the only reason I say that Zuma gets the man of the match thing for me is that Declan Rice is putting those kinds of performances in, week out, for his club, for his country, and we kind of expect it of him now. So it's not such a big surprise when he puts in a masterful performance the way he does. It's no surprise to us anymore, you know, and that's why I think in January you're going to be hearing people bantering about 150, 160 million for him.
Yeah,
you know, there are going to be people that will be prepared to pay that as well, providing they've got the funds, of course. You know, I sincerely hope that we do keep him for at least the next 2 or 3 seasons, so that he can captain us through our European campaign, get us to a particular status within that European competition.
I think we're going to win the European Cup. I really, 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 really do. And you have Rio Ferdinand, who has come off like such a mug of recent. Like, he had come off like such a mug, turned sideways, backwards, upside downwards. And he's saying the 3 players that Newcastle should go for is Declan Rice, who's our player, Jesse Lingard, who we want back, and then Raheem Sterling, who I didn't give a shit about. But, like, he's saying those 3 players, like, come, like, if Newcastle come after Rice, that's going to be 200. I'll tell you that for a fact. That's going to be 200 million, 100%.
I think.
Why would you want to go up there? Like, come on.
I think, and I said it on a couple of streams now. I think my belief is we've got Declan Rice until the summer of 2023, and the reason why I think that is because, as I say, in the summer of the end of this current season, so summer 2022, Mark Noble is leaving the club. Mark Noble's retiring. I don't believe that Gold and Sullivan will allow a situation to unfold where in the same transfer window we lose 2 captains. I just can't see it. But during the 2022-2023 season in November, you've got the Qatar World Cup. And my suspicion is that he will go to that tournament, light it up like he did in the Euros, and at that point, in terms of what he's achieved in the game, in terms of his age, in terms of how long he's got left on his contract, I think after that tournament, he then becomes at the maximum amount of value that we could justifiably squeeze out of him in terms of a transfer fee. And I suspect that he will go in the summer of 2023. Now, this also ties in, now, if you like a conspiracy theory, here's a good one. This also ties in with the little deal with the LLDC as far as London Stadium's concerned with Gold and Sullivan. That if Gold and Sullivan sell the club on, they've got to pay a portion of that to LLDC or wherever. Well, that ends at that point, so it wouldn't shock me if Declan Rice is out the door and so are Gold and Sullivan.
Yeah.
We can only hope for that part.
You know, that sounds really good. Could you just make a phone call to get it working?
I seriously think I'm not being funny. I agree with Clive. I think at that point, you know, it wouldn't shock me if he goes for about 150, give or take. It really wouldn't shock me, because I think at that point, like I say, if you consider that he's gone to a European Championships and, in my opinion, was the man of the match in the final. If he goes to the World Cup and has a good tournament, and like I say, at 2023 he'll be 24, I think, and he'll have about 2-3 years left on his contract at West Ham. Like I say, I think at that point that's probably the moment where they'll go, all the stars have aligned, and this is the point at which we can get our maximum value. And if we don't get it now, then it's going to be a diminishing return from here on in.
Here's a question for you, Gatesy. Here's a question for you. So, if by any stretch we did lose Declan, who do you think would then be awarded the captaincy?
What? If he goes
out of our current squad
at the end of this season?
That's all I do.
If he was to go.
I would say it's going to be either Thomas Souček, because he's the captain of Czech Republic, isn't he? So he's got experience of captaincy. Kurt Zuma, I wouldn't be adverse to him. They're probably the two standout candidates for me. Either Thomas Souček or.
What about Ogbonna? Come on.
He's too old. He's too old. With all due respect, I think he's.
Too old.
I think you. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not being funny. He might not be the number one or one of the two number one centre backs next season, because by that time the torch might have passed on to Issa Diop. That's kind of what I'm expecting, if I'm being brutally honest. So I don't see that there's much point in giving it to a guy that at that time will be 34 years of age. So I would much rather give it to someone younger.
Yeah. So do you think possibly then that Areola might be the contender for the armband then in those circumstances?
I'm not entirely sure that Alphonse Areola will be our starting goalkeeper next season, if I'm being honest, Clive.
Why not?
Really?
Why not?
Well, have you? Exactly. I mean, I hadn't stopped to think about it, but Gonzo did a little piece on Hammers Chat a little while ago, and he still thinks it's a possibility that we might end up getting Sam Johnston next season.
Yeah, but what if we could get Areola on loan again and get Sam Johnston? Like that would be
okay. If we had Areola, I don't like having a goalkeeper as a captain. That's just I prefer it to be an outfielder, and I don't like it being a striker generally, because I prefer it. This is just me. I'm a little bit old school. My preference is for a captain to be either a defender or a midfielder.
So Declan Rice all day long. Honestly, Declan Rice all day long.
Yeah. Listen, guys, I just got to butt out for 5 minutes. I've got to make a call about work.
Yeah. No, go do your thing.
I'm supposed to be leaving for work now, but hey, I'll be back.
Yes, right. Yes, sir.
I'm on a week's holiday, so I'm all right.
Declan Rice for now, Gatesy. Like,
yeah.
You can't get better of a captain than
no,
Declan Rice.
But I mean, the question was if Declan goes. Yeah, but obviously the question was if Declan goes. So, like I say, in that scenario, then I would say Thomas Souček or Zuma would be my standout candidate. How about you, Kieran?
I'd say Michael Antonio, just to throw a spanner in the works.
No, I don't. Until we sign a player to a long contract, if we think we're going to have Souček for the next 5 years, great. But in the interim, if he went at the end of the season, right, so I'd give it straight to Cresswell. But
that's a good shout. That's a good shout.
I'd have him for as long as we've got. I know Cresswell's future is probably only two more seasons.
Yeah.
Cresswell would be my shout until I got a candidate that I could say. See, I could see Zuma being it.
Yeah.
I could see Souček being it.
Me too.
But I'd give it to Cresswell first until he leaves.
What about
the only thing with that is
What about Soufal? Would any of you give it to Soufal or no?
No.
Probably not. Because I've got a suspicion that if things go a certain way, Ben Johnson might be replacing Vladimir Soufal at some point in the not too distant future.
Ben Johnson, he hasn't. Like I know he was a bit dodgy for the first 20 minutes of yesterday's match, but he ain't really like he's performing. He's performing, isn't he? Like.
Yeah.
No, he's on track. You don't expect a youngster like him to come in hitting ground running. And I don't like. So I criticised him against Genk because against a better team, it could have cost us. He lost the ball a lot in that first half. But it didn't really matter. But yesterday, I thought against Tottenham, he was a bit nervy, edgy. But once he grew into the game, he looked like. And this is a big game. This is Tottenham. He had Son there, and he had that Reguilón coming at him. And he performed well, mate. I thought, and it's so nice to have two right backs and maybe even three right backs that you can bring in. And we're in a good position. What I do love about West Ham at this moment, and it was always Moyes' intention, when he tried to go for Tarkowski, is to get good centre halves in place. And now we got four of them. We got 4 centre halves, and I wouldn't be disappointed if any 2 of them started next week. I really wouldn't. Right, they can do a job. We can see that. So I love that. All we're lacking really is we've got Cresswell, and we've only got Massamarket, who's more to me more of a wing back than he's a good left back. But that's where I'd love to see January. We go and buy a striker, we buy a left back, and maybe bring back Lingard. And happy days, we can push for the top 4. Them 3 positions, that's what I'd love to see. And Vlasic come good as well.
Yeah.
That'd be even better.
Yes. Sorry, what?
Where's he disappeared? Oh, he's back. I thought you'd done a runner.
Casey, I know. I'm dodging and I'm ducking and diving. But no, Casey,
am I in the dark here?
What's that, man?
No, you're good.
Really dark. Am I in the dark?
It sort of dips in and out.
Yeah, I go in, I go out, and I go out, and I go in, and then Budgie comes back in. Oh my days! But let me ask you this, Like, I forgot what I was going to ask you. Oh, bollocks! Oh no, I remember now. So the left back and striker, those are the. Well, it's been striker for like the past 2 transfer windows, isn't it? Like. Whenever I hear James Fever talk, he's like, "Oh, we should have a striker. We should have a left back." And I agree with him. Like, I don't want to, but I do agree with him. Like,
yeah, no, I don't disagree at all.
Striker and a left back.
Yep.
Who would your 2 be?
Ooh. Well, like I say, I've already said who my striker would be. Divock Origi.
Yeah.
Left back. See, who's available? Who's available, and who realistically could we afford? Who realistically would come?
Fulham. They have 2 boys. They have 2 boys. I forget.
You're not thinking Ryan Sessegnon, are you?
And Robertson and Bryant.
Okay.
Would you consider them or no?
I'd consider them, but I couldn't say that I know an awful. I've seen that much of them. Yeah. Brian, he was the one that scored the 2 goals in the playoff final, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I remember seeing him in that match, and he looked decent, but I don't think he really pulled up many trees when Fulham were in the Premier League. But then again, Fulham didn't pull up many trees. In fairness to him.
Yeah.
For me, I think the left back. I think I'd have a look at that Rico Henry. From
Brentford. Yes, sir.
Do you think he come though, Clive?
I don't know. I think the lure of the history of the club may work. And the fact that we've got such a big stadium with that many people that can get in there. I mean, that's a draw for anybody that plays football. I would have thought. I mean, there could be other clubs in for him. Like if we were up against, say, for argument's sake, Tottenham and Crystal Palace, let's just say, then chances are that it's going to be down to either us or Tottenham to get him. I would have thought, and depending on how he feels about Tottenham and what they can offer him and what we can offer him, I got a funny feeling we would win the fight. Do you know what I mean? We'd get his signature. The other thing, of course, is that he's a young guy. He's got himself into the Premiership with Brentford. He's battled hard to get here, and he's battling hard to stay here. So if he's one of these guys that has loyalty, which is a rare commodity these days, as you said yesterday, Casey. If he's a loyal kind of guy, then I think the chances of us getting him are slim. But it depends on what the man wants out of his career. I think we could probably get him.
I think he's a very good player. The only thing that concerns me, I think he's got a bit of an injury record, hasn't he? I think he's done his ACL a couple of times.
Has he? Has he?
Yeah, so I've been told. So
right.
that would be the bit of a concern to me. But I mean, you're right. I think Rico Henry is a very good shout. As I say, I don't know whether maybe we've actually got the answer possibly right under our nose, and we probably don't even know it, because obviously we've got the youth teams, and I don't know if you've seen some of their results lately. It's like, I mean, what was it, 6-0 against Man United's under 23s, or you know, there's been there's and I think is it Longello's the left back for the 23s, so it's like. Yeah, could he make the step up? Perhaps, maybe we don't need to spend sort of like 20 million or whatever on a left back. Maybe we've, you know, and that's the thing for me, is that sort of like we've got that thing as you come out of the sort of like the tunnel, the Academy of Football. Yeah. Maybe we've got the answer in the Academy of Football.
Yes.
Yeah. And also for the striker position as well. I mean, we've got a really decent. Yeah. Yeah, we've got a decent striker.
He knew a right back.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a decent striker in Oko Flex, I think. I mean, he's showing a bit of promise. He's showing a bit of promise, you know. We've got, you know, boys all over the pitch in the 23s that I like. You know,
Ashby.
What's the name of that? Harrison Ashby. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about him, like, you know, in similar way to the way we talk about Coventry. I think, you know, how good he is. You know, Coventry just doesn't seem to be able to break it through into the first team. So let's hope that, you know, Harrison Ashby has more luck. I know they're different positions, but you know, it's one of those things that, well, we like you said earlier, Gatesy, and we've all agreed. You got to have faith in Moyes. You know, he knows what he's doing. That's why he gets paid the money he gets paid for the job he does. You know, we have to have faith in him. But you know, it's all very well us sitting here, you know, not criticising as such, but dissecting, you know, what could be and what should be. But the fact is that David Moyes has got his thumb firmly on the finger firmly on the trigger, and he hasn't, as you said, Gates, he hasn't made any mistakes. You know, he's getting it right invariably more often than not. So, you know, but you're right there though. It could be a good shout. Maybe we could fill out, the positions we're lacking in. We could fill them from the 23s.
The only thing I'd say about that, Clive, with especially with Mr. Moyes, is even when they're proven professionals, as you know, Ben Rama ripped it up in the Championship, and Bowen did too. They still, even with them guys, he beds them in, and he takes his time, and he puts them on the bench, and he gives them minutes, and he brings them back. I think it takes even longer for him to bring through a youngster. You know, I think Ben Johnson's getting the run now only because Soufel's injured. Otherwise, he'd be a longer project to keep him going. Longer.
But look at it from this point, though, Kieran. If Creswell was to get injured, who's he got? I mean, we can all say Masuaku, but
that's
I think 80% of us guys would probably think that Masuaku's better suited to being more forward than defensive.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
Yeah, up on that left wing, I think he'd be quite a menace on the left wing. If I'm honest, you know, Masuaku. We need someone that's defensively minded. He could have been.
I would have taken Ben Rama off after 60 minutes and put Masuaku on.
Yeah, in fact, I probably would have done it a tad earlier than that. You know, probably at half time, I probably would have done it because Ben Rama didn't look like he was getting anywhere yesterday.
He was having a bad day at the office, for sure.
He was, I mean, and Antonio didn't have the greatest of games yesterday. No. You know, he got the goal, which was fantastic, obviously, but he didn't have the greatest of games. He didn't pull up no trees for me yesterday. You know,
what have you boys seen this thing doing the rounds on? And I don't know whether the photograph's been doctored, but there's a photograph on Twitter. You know when Fornals went down in the second half, and Romero was standing over him, and then the next thing you knew, Fornals was sort of reared up and sort of got right in his grill, sort of thing, which is quite unlike Pablo, in fairness. And I'm miles away, so I'm like, has he said something? And I've seen a photograph and I've heard things on social media. And as I say, I don't know if this photograph has been doctored or whether it's the real deal, where Romero's standing above Fornals, who's on the ground, and you can see coming out of his mouth is sort of like what I assume to be a globule of spit.
I don't believe that was a spit, JT. I think he was just shouting at him, and he had some spit come out of his mouth while he was shouting at him. I don't think it was a deliberate.
I thought he did a Jew-off. I thought he did a Jew-off, honestly.
I don't think he did myself.
My initial reaction was, did Romero tread on Pablo's hand or something? You know, that was my initial reaction when I first saw it. But then when I saw the replay, his foot was nowhere near his hand or anything. So it must have been vocal. In my opinion, you know, I thought he might have said something.
It's funny though, because when I was watching the match with my father, the first thing my father said, he was like, did he just have like a guard with him? Did he just have a spit at him? And I thought he did. And yeah, it might have been him just saying two things, and then some saliva came out of his mouth. I think
that was the case. Be honest,
I remember the Matsuaku thing. What was it? When Matsuaku, like, he just like, he spit, but it wasn't at the player, and then it landed on the player, and he was like, oh, he spit at the player, and I thought that was out of order. Like, he didn't do a Jew-off. Like, he just spit, and it just landed on the player. Right?
Be honest, guys, I'll tell you this now. I was happy with that. That the guy had to go right? Because I'll tell you what, I jumped out of my chair. I said, that's what we need. I thought the crowd had gone quiet. I thought West Ham had gone a bit in themselves. I went, this is what we want. Get it up.
A little bit of a spur up the.
Get a spur up here. Get some spite into the game. That's all you need. That'll get the crowd going. Let's get into them now. I was quite delighted about it, to be honest.
Kieran,
I was jumping up and down here, I'll tell you.
Oh gosh!
If it was a spit and if it was intentional, then that needs to be dealt with by the authorities. No ifs, no buts. Because I would say that even if it was a West Ham player, and I did when Masuaku got caught doing it, I was absolutely appalled, and I'm like. No, he did. He knew what he was doing, Peach.
On this all year long. He didn't do it. He spat, and it's like the wind caught him and went on him.
I watched the slow motions of that yesterday, live when I was here at home. It was might have been midnight, but I watched it and I didn't see him purposely spit at him. He was just leaning over, giving it to him. I don't believe it. And I'll tell you what, even that tackle, they didn't give a free kick for that either. That was they only gave a throw in. If you watched it, we took a throw. It wasn't even a free kick.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, did the referee?
What do you have to say now? Spit. Nothing.
Kieran was on about yesterday, not Masuaku.
Oh, well, I'm not about Masuaku, so there.
No, Masuaku gobbed at him. End of story, Peach. You know he did.
No, he didn't. He gobbed on the pitch, and the wind took the spit and landed on him.
He gobbed at him.
He like this, and then it went like on the way. Trust me. He didn't do a Jew-off or whatever his name is.
He meant it, mate.
I don't know. He was a nasty player. He really spat at the guy like full guard things like.
I would rather be punched in the face than be spat at. I would rather be punched in the face and have my nose broken than be spat at.
Masuaku would not do that to you because Masuaku is a classic.
No, I'm talking any player. I would rather be punched in the nose and have it broken than be spat at.
I'm saying
Oh,
it.
I
okay,
agree.
I agree with you.
once.
And Masuaku
Yeah,
would not
but-
do that. He's a classy
It
French player.
happened to me once, playing the game of football. And it was an
If
all-in
someone's
brawl.
spat-
It ended up in an all-in brawl with two teams. Only happened ever once. And it's a disgusting thing to do.
Mm.
No, that's worse than getting your knee broken half, dog. Like straight up, I agree with that.
Yeah, I would tear someone limb from limb if they spat at me. That's
Oh,
bad.
100%.
You know?
100%.
You know,
I
think that's one of the most disgusting things you can do to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, that is just that's
I
pure.
agree with you.
That's pure disgusting. You know,
Especially in this day and age of COVID time, isn't it?
It's so
yeah.
insulting.
And it just shows the total.
It's so insulting.
Yeah, it shows a total lack of any respect or anything like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I mean, if you're having an argument with someone and there is no respect there, you don't then spit at someone. If you feel that,
you don't spit at somebody, dog.
If you feel that way inclined,
you're not somebody.
Yeah,
you
if
don't
you feel that way
spit at
inclined, you
somebody.
either throw a punch or you throw words,
Yes,
don't you?
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
But to spit at someone, but then like Kieran said, I don't actually think that yesterday's event was a deliberate spitting incident.
No.
Although I do believe that Masuaku's was.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, mate. It's
No,
3
I
against
don't
1
agree.
here, Pete.
I don't agree.
No.
I don't agree.
You're
You have
in
an
the
opinion, I got
minority,
mine. I
You're
don't
on your
agree.
own,
I don't
son.
agree.
You're on your own.
Well, let me be on my
that's-
time. Let me be on my time because I do not agree. I that was not deliberate. And if Gaethje was to go with a man, all he'd have to do is like grab him by his hands because he has shovels for hands. So like,
But Gaethje, what did you think of Kane standing there like a statue when he scored the goal?
like a tree.
Yeah, well, as a West Ham fan, I was chuffed to bits because it made D'Antonio's job that much easier. He was completely. But then to be fair, I mean, you know, he's a striker, so you know, he's probably his defensive skills are maybe not as good as
but even as a striker, most strikers anticipate the ball coming when you don't expect it.
He doesn't want to be there, Kieran. No, let's not forget.
That's what he said
doesn't.
to me, mate. That's what he said
Yeah,
to me.
if you're not happy in your job, and you fundamentally don't want to be there, are you going to give your best effort? Of course you're not.
not.
No, and
You're going to troll.
You're going through the motions. You're going to go through the motions. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
on autopilot.
in fairness, though, Harry Kane's attitude is far more acceptable. The way he is at the moment is far more acceptable than was the attitude of, let's say, Dimitri Payet.
Oh,
His
yeah,
attitude
massive.
was completely against the club and that. Whereas Harry Kane's not coating off the club. He's not refusing to train. He's not refusing to play. He's not.
I don't know.
He's not isolating himself from the rest of the group. He's not. He's not.
He did refuse to train, didn't he?
He didn't come back to training for the first 2-3 days, did he?
He did do that.
Yeah, but that was because he was granted extra holiday.
No, he was supposed to come back on a certain day, and he didn't.
Yeah.
No, he did do that.
Yeah.
Ah.
Tottenham refused to tell him, and he was stuck.
Then my mate had it all wrong then.
He was
My
having
mate
a
said
sock.
that he was granted extra holiday.
A big sock. He threw his toys out the pram. He wanted that Man City move, and Grealish got it, and he didn't. End of.
Yeah.
Do you know who
Hey, listen,
Harry
guys,
Kane's
it's
agent was,
almost 9
though?
a.m.
No, I don't. Who was it, Gaethje?
When that contract was
Desmond.
negotiated, apparently it was his brother.
Oh my
his brother,
sounds
that was it. Yeah.
Sounds like Marco and Artemis all over again.
Is his name Abel?
Cain and Abel.
Cain and Abel.
Yeah, now Charlie Kane apparently. That was a little bit of information I didn't realise. But when I did the interview with Tommy, the Spurs fan, before the game, he turned around and said that apparently it was his agent, who's also his brother. I was like, really? That must have been an interesting conversation.
That's
Have I got a release clause, bruv? Yeah, no, I didn't need to put that in. 6-year contract, no release clause. Oh, well done. Thanks for that.
Fucking hell. Right, listen, guys, it's almost 9 a.m. I'm going to have to love you and leave you. I've got
Clive,
to
you
work.
take care, mate.
And you, Gatesy. Pleasure to see you again, Kieran. Always a pleasure, Peach. Take care, yeah?
Take it easy. All the best,
Across
bud.
the world with Peach, Gatesy, Kieran and Clive.
We love Clive, we do.
Come on, you Iron.
Clive, we do. We love
Take
Clive,
care.
we do. Oh, Clive,
Take care of
we
your
love
ankle.
you. No.
Down to 3.
Down to 3, down to 2,
No,
down
three.
to 1. How are we going to get the job done? I'm still buzzing over yesterday. I'm sorry. I oh my days.
Regardless of the performance, Peachy, it's just a great result, isn't it? It's just a great result. Well, the best performance.
It is.
What do you guys think? Looking forwards, because obviously this, the game is now done, and we've now got to turn our attention on Wednesday to some team from Manchester called Manchester City. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Oh,
Amateurs.
Easy.
They've won the last 4 of these League Cups, haven't they? So they're not going to want to give this up easy.
Only by luck. When you've got
4 times.
when your second team's full of internationals, your second string team, you can achieve this.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Now I believe we will throw out a second string team as we did against Man United, and we'll give it a go.
Yeah.
But and be honest, the way how things are going at the moment, it doesn't bother me whether we win, lose, or draw. Well, we won't draw because they'll go to penalties, won't it? So I'm not bothered. And it's so nice to be a West Ham supporter where, all right, we go out to the League Cup. So what? We're in Europe.
I'd love to win it, though. It'd be great to win it, wouldn't it? And what a boost it would be.
We're going to win it. We're going to win it. Don't worry.
No, we're not. I don't believe we are going to win the League Cup. But
okay, then talk to me. Talk to me after the match. We're going to win that match.
I had no interest in it, Gatesy, when we played Man United. I went, look, just give it up. We're in Europe. We've got to concentrate on Europe and the league. And then we beat Man United, and I'm going, oh, hang on. And then 20 minutes later, they've done the draw. They've done the draw.
Sure, imagine we beat Man City. Who else is left in the competition? If we beat Man City, we can beat anybody.
That's the biggest.
I think we will.
I hope we do, but I'm not going to worry about it if we don't. And like Moyes, if you want to win that game, if you really want to win it, you'd put the same team out you did yesterday.
Yeah,
simple. Agreed.
I don't think he'll put out the same team, but I can see a team going out very similar to what went out against Genk, where you look at it and it's sort of like half first teamers and half not first teamers sort of thing. I think it will be a halfway between sort of like being a sort of like a full strength team and not sort of thing. So I don't think he'll disrespect the opposition and the competition on Wednesday blatantly, where he'll put out a team of kids and reserves, but I think it won't be the full strength 11 because there are players that need a rest. I mean, Declan Rice, I mean, in an ideal situation, I'd love him to play against Manchester City because he's our best player and they're the league champions. But at some point, Declan Rice needs a rest. He's human. And what you don't want is to overwork him to the point where what happened last season, where sort of like he picks up an injury that's possibly part of the reason why he got the injury was fatigue and sort of like an accumulation of wear and tear over the course of a season or two. And then he's out and we obviously, as we said earlier, we ended up finishing 6th, which was magnificent. But you sit there and go, we were 3 points away from a Champions League position, and that was the difference. So Declan Rice needs to be rested, in my opinion. I'd like I say, if he plays, great, but he needs to be given a rest.
I suppose we've got to take in Moyes' history from last year, Casey, and it's against Everton, he threw it away, didn't he? He gave that one away.
Yeah, that was a bit disappointing.
It was disappointing. You know what I mean? And we weren't in Europe last year. We were looking for an FA Cup run or a League Cup run, and he threw that one away purposely.
Yeah, he did. Yes,
he really didn't want to know. But the difference with this year is his second string side can compete to a point.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Yeah.
It is still Man City, and their second string side can probably compete with most Premier League teams in the Premier League.
I know, but Kieran, I don't think you understand. Like, I know everybody says this, and people might just be getting a bit too familiar with it, but we are fucking massive, and you know what? We do have the gust to. We do have that to go against the Man City side and give them a match better than we gave them a match last season, and we only lost like by 1 goal, I think it was last season. So why can't we do them over? I know they got Foden, who's on fire right now. What a player!
I'm not saying
what a player, but we got Lanzini to come off the bench. We got Benrahma. We got Bowen. We have Antonio, probably the best striker in the Premier League. So we got Zuma. Come on, like we'll eat them up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We'll start with Dawson and Diop, I think. Dawson Diop, and I'm delighted with them two.
I'm happy with that.
Johnson might get more minutes.
Yeah.
It'll be him.
Areola in goal.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Areola gets the game. All you got to do is decide whether you.
I don't know whether Crowell will be back. Because obviously he had a COVID diagnosis, didn't he? So I don't know whether he's going to be.
Let me ask you, Gacy, because I thought. This is just me personally, and I've talked about this with Kieran before, but like, I thought Crowell would be a bit like, you know, when you're a dancer and you're a bit heavy on your feet, like he looked light on his feet, a lot lighter than I expected. Like, I was very impressed with Alex Crowell. Like, really?
Yeah, I was. I think he's been underused this season, if I'm being honest.
Oh, not many. 100%. 100%. Not many, man. And it's like, I was very impressed by him. I thought he came good, and I don't think we've seen the best out of him. I don't think we've seen the best out of Vlasic, like Kieran was saying. Give the man time to bed in, and yeah, I just, don't write off the Man City result just yet, because I think we might get something, and if we get something, oh my days, the heavens are going to open.
David Moyes,
Manchester City, the heavens will open.
David Moyes will get his players believing that they can achieve a result.
Yes.
He knows he will be realistic. He'll be like, listen, this is a quality team, and on paper they should beat us. If we play this game 10 times, they'll probably beat us 7 or 8.
Yeah.
But this is one of those times where they don't win. You know, is today. He will get them believing that they can do it with the wind at their backs. If we get a bit of luck, and maybe they get a little bit of bad luck, we can meet in the middle, and who knows, we can pull off a shot. And just stop and think about this: if we in consecutive rounds beat Manchester United away and Manchester City, the 4-time consecutive champions of this tournament, the confidence will be through the roof. And I don't care what the players that he puts out. I don't care if he's put out sort of like I say, sort of like what are now considered to be bench players like Diop, Dawson, Areola, Noble, Crowell, Yarmolenko. You know, their confidence will be through the roof.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yep.
Masuaku could go on there and tear him up, mate. It could be. Yarmolenko might have a Ukrainian style game.
Oh, you never know. Yeah. Kiefer Moore. Oh, I know. Football with Brownie. Yeah.
I love Brownie. I love Brownie. He's massive, isn't he?
Cardiff are not having a great time at the minute, though, are they? I mean, they've just sacked Mick McCarthy, haven't they? Was it 8 consecutive defeats or something?
I know they lost against Swansea, wasn't it?
Not looking good.
It was awful.
When you think about that, I mean, sort of like Cardiff, they're one of those clubs that you look at and you go, do you know what? If someone went in there and actually managed to just, get it right, I mean, they've got a massive catchment area. Massive. That little corner of South Wales, you split sort of like, you could split the sort of like the fan base between Swansea and Cardiff. I mean, all that area that sort of like you could sort of get support instead of getting the locals to support Manchester United and Liverpool. If you can actually get in there and sort of like get a team that the locals could get behind and they could fill that stadium, and honestly, they could be a Premier League team, no problem. But
they've got a mental support.
Newcastle, they should have gone to Cardiff straight up. Like the billionaires, trillionaires, gazillionaires, they should have gone to Cardiff rather than Newcastle any day of the week. Any day of the week.
I mean, they got a mad fan base. Like Bradley.
That's what I mean. It's similar to ours.
They're crazy fan base, and wouldn't they be?
Yeah, but there's loads of teams that I look at. I don't know about you boys. I look at a lot of teams that are in the Championship, and I remember them growing up, sort of like being mainstays of the top division, and now they're sort of like they're floundering in the second tier, third tier. I mean, I look at teams, Coventry. They were all right. They never really did anything special aside from winning an FA Cup in '87 against the Spuds, but they were always in the top division. And then they've just dropped right out. Nottingham Forest, 2-time European champions. Sheffield Wednesday.
That's what we know.
Huge clubs.
Blackburn's gone and missed. They've just disappeared.
Well, they were the first team to buy a league. Was Blackburn?
They were,
I know.
We did help them do it, which I was delighted about. We helped them do it on the last day, so I was well happy about that.
Yeah.
So
if it hadn't have been for Ludo, Alan Shearer would never have got a Premier League winners medal.
Or Tony Gale.
Ever.
Tony Gale got one from that.
Did you hear the story? Apparently, after they won it, because of course we had the game at Upton Park against Man United, and they were playing at Anfield, wouldn't they? And they lost 2-1. But Tony Gale apparently went into the training, the dressing room afterwards, and tried to get the Blackburn players to do a rendition of Bubbles.
No,
I heard the story because we did. Ludo gave them that title. Save after save after save after save. It was the Alamo. It was brilliant. I was so delighted.
Yeah, sort of like all 11 players camped on the sort of like the edge of our penalty area. They're just launching balls in.
Yeah.
And I remember Ferguson
I don't think Boogers touched Neville.
Marcus Boogers, yes, sir.
Chopped him in half.
Alex Ferguson was fucking whinging like a little baby.
The obscene effort.
They only turn up when they play us. They've been shit all year and they only turn up when they play us. Brilliant. Oh, no.
Yeah. We did it a couple of years earlier, didn't we, when we beat them 1-0 when Kenny Brown scored and Leeds won the title that year.
Yeah, and Leeds won it, yeah. That's right.
And we got relegated. That's the stupid thing. We stopped the team from winning the league title in the same year that we went down. It could only happen to us.
Biggest celebration for the year was fucking make sure they didn't win it.
Yeah, clear. I think it was it Steve Bruce or Gary Pallister cleared the ball and it hit Kenny Brown on the shin as he was running towards the penalty box and just flew past Peter Schmeichel. And that was their league title gone pretty much.
Brilliant.
That's typical West Ham, though, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. But we celebrated that like we did win the title. Simple as that.
Yeah. That last one about Rice is unhappy. I've never seen a quote directly from Declan Rice where he's come out and said he's not happy.
No,
Me neither.
never.
Me neither.
Never.
It's just, and I noticed that an awful lot of these stories emanate from Matt Law, who's a Chelsea fan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, damn. But any weekend, though, guys, when you beat the Spuds, right, it's always a good weekend. And when you've got, and how many times has Antonio scored the winner now against them? I can remember at least three winners.
He scored the header against them in the last season at the Boleyn, didn't he? Near post header.
Yeah.
I remember that. He's obviously scored the one yesterday, and then the
season.
one at the first one at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium where they lost.
Yeah.
So that's three. Yeah, that's three.
Do you remember the Ravel Morrison goal though? That was so special. I remember watching that. I was at my apartment, and my father was there with his mate who is who's from where is he from? Flipping hell. Shepherd's Bush. He's from Shepherd's Bush, but he supports the Spuds. And oh my days, like Ravel Morrison just went on that run. That was like watching Maradona in disguise. It was nuts, and he just went through the whole flipping team, and then just like
shame that he couldn't get it together though. Up here, he just had a screw loose. Just so much talent. And
I know. No, he's
what, 27, 28 now?
I don't give a he has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws loose, man. Like it's a shame.
He's had more clubs than Tiger Woods, mate. He's had more clubs than Tiger Woods.
You get
he's a troubled individual, wouldn't he?
Yeah. I turned around about 5 years ago.
So much talent.
I said to someone about 5 years ago, I said, sort of like 20 years or so from now, Ravel Morrison's name will come up and people will sit there and go, Ravel Morrison.
Who?
Isn't he the guy that scored a worldie goal when he was a kid and ended up playing for Kettering?
Yeah. That's about it, isn't it?
You know, 'cause I don't even know where he is now. I think, did he go to Middlesbrough?
Well, he was in Mexico, man. He was in Mexico, and then
is he at Derby?
Come again?
Is he at Derby at the minute?
I think he is under Rooney. Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, they're doing great, aren't they?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna check. I'm sure he's at Derby.
I think he is because he went to some club called Atlas in Mexico. Yeah, he went there, and then I know he went
chasing the white powder.
Like come again, Karen?
He was chasing the white powder. He went to
allegedly.
He's Robbie Fowler in disguise, mate. He's Robbie Fowler in disguise, mate. How do you mean? He is Robbie Fowler in disguise.
He's at Derby. He's played 12 games in the Championship, and he's played a League Cup game as well, by the looks of things.
How's it looking for him? Is he playing well?
Derby have struggled. I mean, so he's played 13 games at Derby in all competitions. He's got 1 goal. And as I say, Derby as a whole are struggling. And I'm not being funny. A guy of his ability, a guy of his natural talent shouldn't be playing at a struggling Championship team. Now, he really shouldn't. But the fact that he is quite telling. It's like, well, it's not on the basis of his ability. So what else is going on?
Yeah. Well, but it's always a telling sign when Man United prepare to lose a young fella and let him go.
Yeah, but
that's a warning. Always a warning sign for me.
I know, right. but the same thing happened, Karen. The same thing happened with Pogba. Like Pogba was at Man United, and they let him go. And then
I tell you what, after last night, they'll be letting him go again.
They let him go.
He's gone again. Don't worry about that. After that tackle he put in yesterday, he came up in 10 minutes, nearly fucking broke the guy's leg.
I've not seen it. Is it bad?
Oh, it's a 2-footer, and if the guy got stretched off, he got stretched off. But his first foot comes at the ball, but his second foot comes over the ball and catches him right in the calf. And and I had to stretch him off.
It was almost a leg breaker. It was almost a leg breaker.
And he meant it, mate. I'll tell you that now. He meant it. He was sulking because he came on as sub. He was sulking because he didn't get picked for the game. And he came on and done that. And I told my boy, we were watching it. We got up this morning and watched it, not knowing the result. And I said, at half-time, they were 4-0 down. I said, you wait. Now, this is where the kicking starts. Man United, Liverpool. Man United are going to start sulking and they're going to start kicking. And then all of a sudden, Ronaldo started it first when he booted the ball into his guts. And then Pogba done it with that 2-footer. And it was a red card all day long. I'll tell you what, he let everyone. They were disgraceful.
Kieran, do you think, like, I think, honestly, like, I know Man United got rid of him and then they got him back, but I think he's a bit overrated. Honestly, I think he's a bit overrated. Honestly,
on a good day, he's fabulous.
Oh, he's brand new.
On a good day, he's fabulous.
Yeah.
I don't know. Man United have not seen many of them good days. That's the trouble.
No.
Do you know what I think when I think of Paul Pogba? And I'm obviously of a certain age. I think of the old, what was it? Eric Morecambe, Ernie Wise sketch, where Eric Morecambe turns around and says, I'm playing all the right notes, just not necessarily in the right order. And that's Paul Pogba. I think he can play every single note, but he doesn't necessarily do it in the right order.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy, Mark.
It is. That's Paul Pogba. He can play any tune you want, but he doesn't necessarily get all the notes in the right order.
That's fantastic. I like that. I really like that.
Class.
He can. Well, I just don't think he wants to be there. And you can see it in him. And I reckon he was happy to get sent off there. They brought him on when they were, I think, 5-0 down. I think he took it as an insult, you know, for not being picked. And he made his best effort to get sent off. And he did. You know, didn't give a shit. Walked straight down the tunnel, never came to the bench, straight down the tunnel. He didn't give a fuck.
Is he in the last year of his contract? Have I read that right?
I think he's refused to sign a new one. So, yeah.
Is this the last season of his current contract, so he can leave on a free in the summer?
Robert, I'm not sure about that. It could be this year and the next year. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. But they have approached him, and he refused to sign one. So
yeah, well, that's him. I think he would probably like to leave on a free then, because once you leave on a free, you can negotiate a much bigger chunk of change as far as your wages and your signing on fees. I think what will probably happen is they'll keep trying to offer him a contract. He'll keep refusing it. They'll then try and sell him. He'll just turn around and say, no, I don't want to go. And he'll end up going for free. Done.
I can see him going to Italy or somewhere, man. Honestly, to tell you the truth, like Italy or France, I can see him going
Real Madrid.
You don't.
I just can't believe.
You don't.
No, I tell you, it's Sunday there, Sunday morning there for you, right? It's Sunday night here for me, Sunday evening, and there's nothing come. I thought. Remember, I think it was Mourinho when he lost at Anfield 3-1, and he got sacked.
Yeah.
Because of that fixture. I'm pretty sure Moyes lost against them, and that was the last game after, and he got sacked. He just lost 5-0 at home, and I'm expecting him to get sacked.
The only thing that I think is going to save him is the fact that it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yes, it's the only thing. The bullshit legacy of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Why?
Yeah.
He's not good enough. It's very obvious, and you've heard Paul Scholes has said it for weeks. His tactics are just wrong. They're all wrong for Man United. Everything he's doing is wrong. And he's not good enough. They are probably the biggest club in the world.
I tend to agree with you. I tend to agree with you on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer getting sacked 100%. 100%.
I'm hoping, to be fair, Paige, I hope he stays there for the next 2 years.
Oh, no, me too, because it's better for us. Yes, 100%.
I want him to stay there forever, because they ain't going nowhere with him. They're going nowhere with him. As simple as that.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I want Arteta to stay at Arsenal.
I'd like to know.
It's Arteta and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Like, those are the two managers that are doing bugger all. Like, they're not doing nothing. Nothing. And all the supporters are pissed off with them because they're not doing shit. Like,
What did Ole do to justify? What did Ole do to justify being Manchester United manager? Mulder and Cardiff.
Was it some Norwegian club, not Mulder, and then he went to Cardiff.
Norway.
He's got no resume.
That was the club he was at before.
Norway. No resume whatsoever to be managing Man United. None. None.
No, I mean that's a mega club. I mean that's one of the great clubs of world football, Manchester United.
Yeah,
I think it's the big.
Yeah,
that's what I'm beating them. Yeah, it is I think it is the biggest club because when you beat them, you're making more people fucking unhappy. That's why I like.
If he wasn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he'd have got nowhere near the hot seat at Old Trafford. Nowhere near it. You know, but it's because it's Ole.
I agree with Kieran. Let him stay there. Let Arteta stay at Arsenal. I love it. And let Nuno stay at Tottenham. Hey, let's have a laugh.
Put Neil Warnock in charge of Chelsea.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Right.
Ali Purposely in charge of like Watford. Yes, please. Right. Yes,
we might have to assassinate Pep Guardiola and Klopp because I don't think they're going anywhere.
Put me in charge of Liverpool. I could sort of do my magic. I'm going to put Alisson up front. I'm going to put Trent in goal.
Yeah, sweet. Put Salah's on the bench. Salah's on the bench, mate. You need a bed in, son. You need a bed in. Get on the bench.
I want to try out some new radical tactics.
We're gonna set the world alight.
Yeah. Oh my word! But yeah, no, I'm sure he's a nice guy and all the rest of it. But you know, as a manager, I can't understand why he's manager of Manchester United. Yeah, why is he manager of Manchester United on his resume? There's no reason why he should be. It's purely because of who he is.
Pathetic. Like you guys want that Fonseca. Like we were after Fonseca, but we turned him down. Newcastle after Fonseca. Like I agree with Kieran. If they're going to get any manager, Newcastle, it should be Gerrard. It should be Gerrard because that would be a stepping stone to Liverpool, like Kieran said in the previous chat. And I agree with that 100%. Because he'd actually do a good job, like not to put a club down, but actually like help them. I think he'd do a tidy job.
Do you want a name? Who should go in at Newcastle?
Gerrard.
No Premier League experience. That would be the thing that. Here you go. Here's a name. Here's a name for you. Here's a name for you. Roberto Mancini.
Nope. Gerrard.
No, hold on. What's the old saying? Yeah, if you want to achieve something, you find someone else that's done it and you copy them. Now, who was the last team that came into money that really attacked the Premier League? It was Manchester City.
I don't care.
Who was the manager that they got in that eventually won the Premier League and put all the building blocks in place?
He knows the game. You get him at Newcastle.
He'll flop.
That's like one step from him going to Liverpool. And it's only like a stone's throw away. There you go.
He's the manager of a pub team.
There you go.
Newcastle are looking for a manager to just get them to a point where they're ready to change. And that's going to take a couple of years. He's not going to be the big names are going to come after. That's why, like someone like Mancini, and I think someone like Gerrard, because he's not, he ultimately don't want to be there. He wants to aim at Liverpool, and if he could prove himself at Newcastle, that's an option. Then it's an option when Klopp decides to retire or walk away. Gerrard could be an option, and it could be a good stepping stone for him.
It could be, but here's the thing:
Ranieri done it at Chelsea, really, didn't he? He got him to nearly.
Flip it on its head. Flip it on its head. Let's put you guys. You are the Saudi sort of owners of the club. Why would you give the job to someone that only sees your club as a stepping stone?
Because I'll tell you.
Because the big manager comes later.
He has done a brilliant job at Glasgow Rangers, or Glasgow, whatever they want to call it.
In a pub league.
Big up the Protestants. But it's like, yo, he's done a brilliant job at Glasgow. So it's like, yo,
I could do a brilliant job there.
Let him have a go.
He's only got to win 4 games a season, Peach.
Come again?
He's only got to win 4 games a season. I could do well there, and it took him 3 seasons to win a league. Let's not forget that.
You're talking off your buttocks right now, dog. Straight up.
The only thing
it took 3 years to win it.
Kieran, like school him.
No. Gerrard's an option. Because what I would say about Newcastle, the Newcastle fans think they're a big club. They're not. They're a big fan base in a small city. That's all they are. They're not a big club. They've never won a title. They're nothing. So to attract a big manager is a problem straight away. They're in a relegation battle. To attract big players is a problem straight away because they're nobody, and they're in a relegation battle. They need a manager to just get them out of that shit, steady the ship, get him to a point where it's ready for the big boy to come in and go, right, I'll take it over from here and I'll win you the league.
Sounds like Big Sam's going there.
Yeah,
Stevie
exactly.
G, no, none of this, no, none of that. Stevie G, all day long.
It can't be Lampard because he's already fucked up with Chelsea, so he's out the window.
I know, poor bastard. I know. Fat Frank Lampard. I know. But Stevie G.
Would a big name manager, Robert? Do you think a big name manager would go there now, in the position they're in?
No,
exactly.
No, I personally think they're going to need to get a transitional manager in until the end of the season. I think they need to get. Do you remember what Chelsea did? I can't remember. I think they got rid of.
Kieran, I think Gaethje's looking for a job. Honestly,
I couldn't afford the pay cut. I couldn't afford the pay cut.
If he goes there, they're relegated. At least we know they're relegated. Even better. Sorted.
But no, where was I? Yeah, do you remember what Chelsea did? When I think they got rid of. I think it was when they got rid of Big Phil Scolari, and they brought in Goose Hiddink as a sort of. And he knew. Listen, you're only going to be the bridge between the previous manager and the manager we're going to bring in next. And I can see what will happen is they'll bring in a transitional manager purely with the brief of, right, your job is to get us out of the shit and keep us in the Premier League. But at the end of this season, we're going to move you on and we're going to get in a manager that's a rung above sort of thing.
They need somebody young, exciting, and hungry. And Gerrard is young.
They need a manager that's going to keep them in the Premier League, Peach. They need a manager that you can't take a risk in this situation because the problem you've got is they could be the richest club in the world in the Championship.
Gerrard would do that.
You don't know that. What experience has he got of fighting a relegation battle either as a player or as a manager? None.
He's in the Scottish Premier League. That's like a relegation battle all season long.
Maybe Mark Hughes, because I think he relegated every team he was at.
No,
maybe Mark Hughes should go to Newcastle.
Neil Warnock.
Neil Warnock, get him in. We can actually give him Dawson. He's been relegated more than the other.
No, bring Roger Johnson out of retirement. Relegation Roger.
Can you imagine the irony of them? The irony of them getting relegated this year with all that money behind them, I would laugh for months. I love it.
Yeah, I would love that. I would honestly, I would love that. I would love that. That would be like a birthday.
We're the richest club in the world. We're in the fucking championship.
This comment here. Can I just pick up on this comment here from Stuart? Mate, I hear you.
You know who Stuart is.
This is where I'm at.
You know who Stuart is?
No?
What's
Can
he
I tell
say?
you?
Read it out, because I'm struggling to read it.
No, but can I hold on? Shush, calm. Like, let's have like peace in the court. JT, can I tell you who Stewart is?
You can tell me anything you like, my friend.
The disabled team.
Is it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, right, because I was going to say, has he subscribed to Falls from Iron? But I'm guessing he hasn't.
He better. If he doesn't, I'm gonna like come over to Leeds and like have two words with himself.
Yeah, yeah. I like the comment, Mark Stewart's comment. Yeah, because what are you now? What are you, Gatey? You're nowhere near my age. I'm 60. What are you?
No, I'm going to be 46 at the end of this year. So, but I mean,
whippersnapper. I'm guessing that Stuart might be nearer my age. But there
yeah. I mean, I've seen us relegated. I've seen us, the cup final in 06. That crippled me just absolutely. So yeah, I'm enjoying it at the minute.
That was the worst 4 minutes of my life. That was the worst 4 minutes of my life. Because you knew something was coming.
And that's why I've got a little bit of a grudge against Stephen Gerrard, Peach.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I thought that was coming out. The venom was coming out. Yeah.
You knew something was coming. It's like when the 4 minutes went up on the board, I was like, oh no, something's gonna come. And then out of nowhere, just like, gosh. And I was like, oh.
When I was at the FA Cup final in '80, you were about a 5-year-old then.
I was 4. I was 4.
Okay. Yeah. And it was really good, mate. It was really good day. I'll tell you that.
My old man was there.
I can imagine. I can imagine. My old man was at the Cup Winners' Cup, not at the FA Cup.
What, at Wembley?
This Cup.
Yeah, his old man was at 65 in the Cup Winners' Cup.
65 Munich. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Alan Seeley.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the goalkeeper, wasn't it?
I must say
that was his uncle.
Oh, word up.
Yeah, Alan Seeley was Les Seeley's uncle.
Yes.
I might probably, if Stuart's about the same age as me, what he'll remember is it was, like we're loving it now. Well, we were loving it then. We got to that FA Cup final in 1980 as a second division team. And loving it, and beating Arsenal in the fucking fun. It was so good. And then we had the Charity Shield, I think, when we lost to. So we've gone to Wembley as fans, once. Then we got the Charity Shield, and we're at Wembley again. I think we lost that one to Liverpool. And then the next year we're in the League Cup final, which I watched at Wembley. I went to Wembley, and then I went to the replay. We had the replay of that at Villa Park on the Wednesday. So we had 3 trips to Wembley in that sort of year. Yeah, just over a year. For fans, you'd be lucky to get to Wembley, once. Well, we had 3 trips to Wembley. 3 trips to Wembley in that little period of time. And then we went to Villa Park, and that wanker.
I would have had 3 trips to Wembley in 04, 05, and 06. But the problem was that Wembley was being rebuilt, so we ended up going to Cardiff. And Cardiff, the Millennium Stadium, is a lovely stadium.
Is it a nice stadium? Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it's funny because it's sort of like this huge, great stadium, and it's slap bang in the middle of Cardiff city centre. It'd be like having Wembley as sort of like at Covent Garden.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. Really? That's what it's like.
Right on the banks of the River Taff. Yeah. Lovely stadium, lovely scenery, and you got all the bars there and all the rest of it, and so I was robbed of 3 consecutive Wembley finals by the fact that Wembley was being demolished and rebuilt at the time.
Yeah.
How's your luck?
Madness.
The difference is we were in the old Wembley, and it was all standing. Most of it was standing.
Yeah.
Which created a better atmosphere.
Yes.
And, for me, it was fabulous.
And we're still the last team. We're still the last team from the second tier of English football to win the FA Cup. No one's done it since.
Didn't know that.
No, I mean, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And I don't think it'll happen. Well, I don't think you can never say never. But I mean, you think about that. That's nearly well, 41. It'll be 42 years by the time of the next FA Cup final since a second division team or a second tier team has won the FA Cup. And with the way that money is, it's you don't look at a sort of like a team in the Championship and see any conceivable way that they could probably get to the final, let alone win it. Really?
Yeah.
Not anymore.
No. So it'll probably never happen again.
There weren't that. I don't think there was that massive divide back then. You know, from the top of the second division.
Gatesy, while I'm on it, hold on. I just got to say this, Gatesy, because I was talking about the 10-0 win, and I knew that was your first match. Who was that against? Bradford?
No, Bury.
So they were right. I think it was either Kieran or Clive said that. Bury. I thought it was Bradford. All right. Yes. Because I got it on my cup. I got it on my cup, like my West Ham cup. And it says, like, just has, like, statistics. And I knew it started with a B, so I'm kind of right. But, yeah, Barry. Yeah. Tell us about that match, please. Like,
well, I've got a very, very grainy memory of it. I mean, sort of like it was a nighttime game.
Yeah,
it was. I can tell you, it was the 25th of October 1983. That is burned on my brain. Milk Cup, second round, second leg, and I think we won the first leg 2-1, and I went there with my dad and a couple of my dad's mates and all the rest of it. And I vaguely remember that there was a lot of goals that were going in, but like I say, it's something I don't have sort of like a great deal of, I would have been about 7 years of age. So I remember bits and pieces. I can't say, I remember, Tony Scotti scoring the 4 goals. I know he did, but I couldn't, if you was to say to me, describe one of his goals.
Yeah, no.
I couldn't do it. But I remember that I was there.
Robert, do you remember your dad saying to you, "This doesn't normally happen"?
Yes. Yeah. I remember coming away, and I couldn't say whether I knew that the score was 10-0 or not. I can't remember that well, but I know that I was aware that there was a lot of goals going in, and they were all going to our team. And I must have come away with the thought that we were the best team in the world.
Yeah. I love it.
I learned very quickly
that wasn't the way it was gonna go, but I love it. I love that. That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful, Gatesy.
Yeah, but there you go. It's
I love that.
It was an introduction into supporting West Ham, that's for sure. To be there at your record victory in your club's history. So yeah. Crazy. Anyway, chaps, I'm going to love you and leave you. I'm going to go do myself a bit of breakfast. We've got our premiere going at 10:30 for my match day vlog.
Again, I think I got something wrong with
you want to know what the channel is?
Forgetting the channel. What's the channel
called? Allow me to furnish you and your millions of viewers with this knowledge.
I'm sure everybody knows.
Well, just in case they don't, on YouTube, go to YouTube, tap in onto the search bar, Falls from Iron West Ham United, click subscribe, hit the bell icon. You'll be notified of any new content as and when we upload it to the channel. Share the streams.
Only if you like the content, hit the like button. If you don't, just tell them to
hit the like button anyway. Hit the like button and then just stop watching it. If it's a load of old crap, which it usually is,
hit the like button
and
bugger off. Yeah. Go and make yourself a cup of tea. But that goes at 10:30. It's
Gatesy and Duke. Absolute, next year we'll be millionaires, brothers.
As a spoiler, I'm going to give a spoiler to you guys. I was very lucky that I managed to get the goal in.
Go on.
The goal is in there.
Turn the phone around. Did you at the right time?
Yeah, I was, you know, because I tend to sort of try and get the camera going at set pieces, because obviously we're quite good at set pieces, and yesterday was a goal from a corner, so I've actually got the goal in.
I want to say this, Robert. When you guys, someone like yourself or young Jakey, I've seen doing it lately, when you do a vlog for us here in Australia, well, that's for thousands. We love it. I mean, love it. So we get. I mean, it's not good for us watching the game in the middle of the night and that, but to get your fans' experience. That I went all over the country watching West Ham for 20 years. To get that fan experience again when you do a vlog, I love it. It's fantastic. As I've not been to the London Stadium, I've never witnessed it. I only know the bowling. So for you to give me that insight of what that day is like, I think it's fantastic, and you're doing a great job.
Kieran,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Did you see the one that Gatesy did when he had who was it, Gatesy? It was the two French boys on there.
Oh, that was the Palace game. That was the Palace game. They were sat in front of us, and it was fairly obvious that they were supporting West Ham. They had all West Ham colours on and all the rest of it, but they weren't from local. And I was like, "Where are you boys from?" And they were like, "Oh, we are from France. We're from Marseille." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I got chatting to them, and I just said to him, I said, "I've got a West Ham fan YouTube channel. Would you like to be interviewed on it and go on the match blog?" And they were like, "Yeah, great." And they come on and they all hit subscribe and it was good. So, but little spoiler, the goal is in there. So for anyone watching, if you want to go onto the channel and watch it, as I say, it premieres in at 10:30. The goal is in there, and there's a little bit right at the end of me talking just as the wrap up, and I'm probably talking for about 10 minutes or so, and I'm just sort of like saying about basically my feelings on West Ham at the moment, not just West Ham today, but just opening up a little bit more about what's happening at the club from my perspective, and just go and watch it, have a look. Tell us what you think.
With these two Marseille boys, though, did you slag off Payet?
I didn't slag him off. I made reference to it. I did sort of reference. Yeah, no, I did reference Payet in the in that particular vlog. Go back and have a look. It's towards the end.
I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah, have a look. It's on the Match Day Vlogs playlist. I'm fairly sure it was the Palace game.
Casey, you know what Russ Button said, Rusty B. He was saying like the camaraderie and just the love that the team has together right now is something he has never seen from 20 years doing his job at the bowling ground and then gone on to the London Stadium. He's never seen that. And
that might not be a million miles away from. That might not be a million miles away from my feelings on it, actually. But you'll have to watch the Match Day vlog. So anyway, I've got to crack on.
I love it.
No, right. Great to talk to you.
Stay safe, boys.
Take
care, yeah? Mind, there you go.
Take it easy, man.
Come on, you Irons.
We love Gatesy. We do. We love Gatesy. We do. We love Gatesy.
Cheers, Peach.
We love Gatesy. We love you.
Peace out.
Peace out, bro.
Now there was two. Now it's Kieran and Peach time. Things are gonna get messy, Doc. How do you mean? Things are gonna get messy, Doc.
Hang on.
Go on, my son.
7. Fuck me. You're 5 in the morning, 4:45 in the morning, you fucker. What are you doing?
This.
I'm working the hours back. What are you doing, you lunatic?
I am. You know what? Lunatic with the capital LU and then to the honestly, like, oh my days. Yeah, lunatic capital.
That's when you've been food.
I got my chicken shawarma in the little toaster oven. I'm gonna have that.
You've got one spare, isn't it? you pick that up earlier, did you?
Oh, yes, I did, sir. Yes, I did, sir. Yes, I did, sir. Yo, when I was talking to you and Tish like earlier on, man, I was like, I just had to like go Betty Buys, man. Honestly, I had to go Betty Buys. Yeah.
See the people, you see your mates in the swarmer shop. They must think, right, 12:30 at night, or 20 to 1. They're going, oh, there's no one around. Let's just pack up and go home. And they're going, no, that fucking lunatic. Hey, he'll be here at 10 to 1. He'll be here at 10 to 1. I'm telling you, we can't pack up.
And
they just want to go home.
And they're like, no, not him again.
Him again. Oh, for fuck's sake.
I love you, Karen. I love you. So listen. We'll end this because I gotta get a bit of a kip. I had a bit of a kip and another bit of a kip, but I need to get another bit of a kip. So
I think you
listen, do. Karen, I love you to pieces. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I agree with you, son. You need a bit of a sleep. And I think the world
I'm on zombie mode right now. Like I'm on zombie mode right now, man. Like, after I talked to you guys, I had a kip, and then like I woke up, called this girl, talked to her, and then like had another bit of a kip. Then like put my shawarma in the oven, and then had another bit of a kip, and then woke up, decided to do this because I knew Clive was available, and I knew you'd be available because it's like more your time than mine. Oh, but yeah.
You say good night to you. Say good night to all your chat friends.
Good night to all my chat friends. I love you to pieces, honestly. And Karen, I love you to pieces. And we will be in touch. Because coming soon is Live with Karen and Clive. If you don't know, now you know. Yeah.
All the best, brother.
All right, mate.